Project Hail Mary has a twist that should make the movie feel more powerful, but instead, it makes it feel less risky. And that's strange because there is a lot to like about this movie. Ryan Gosling and Rocky are doing great, the science is interesting, and the movie is moving at a nice pace. So this is not one of those reviews where I'm saying that the movie is bad. It's not. I just think it works by pulling back from a version of itself that could have been much stronger. And that starts with Grace. At first, Grace is exactly what the movie needs him to be. He's smart, awkward, funny, and Gosling gives him just enough panic that even the exposition stays entertaining. If you're going to spend this much time with one guy on a ship, he has to carry the movie, and he does. Then Rocky shows up and the movie gets even better. Their early scenes together are great, the problem solving is more fun, the movie feels more alive, and their friendship becomes the emotional core of the movie. So it makes sense that people are going to like it. But that's also where the real issue starts, because the second the movie reveals what Grace really is, you realize this could have gone to a much darker place. Grace did not choose this mission willingly. He panicked, he tried to get out of it, he had to be forced onto the ship, and that should change everything. Now, he's not just the lovable science guy trying to save the world, he's the guy who tried to back out when it actually mattered. That is the most interesting thing in the movie, not just that he's smart enough to solve the problem, that part is easy. The interesting part is that he's nowhere near as brave as the story first lets you assume, and for a moment, the movie really understands that. The scene where he's forced onto the mission is one of the sharpest scenes in the whole film, because suddenly, Grace isn't admirable. He's scared, resistant, and honestly kind of pathetic. And I mean that in a good way, because that version of him is more human, it's messier, it's less flattering, it's also a much better character. The problem is that the movie doesn't stay there. It gives you that version of Grace and then it starts watering it down. He's still funny, still charming, still easy to root for. And that's where I think Project Hail Mary starts choosing comfort over depth. Once you know Grace had to be dragged onto this mission, everything after that should feel different. Every success should be carrying a little more guilt. Every joke should have a little more tension under it. Every step in his bond with Rocky should feel like a man slowly becoming the person he failed to be earlier. But the movie only brushes up against that version of the story. It doesn't really sit in it. And then there's Rocky. Rocky is genuinely the best part of the film. Funny, weird in exactly the right way, and their friendship is why the movie works. But Rocky also becomes a safety net. Anytime things get darker, the movie cuts back to them joking or solving something together. And that warmth keeps relieving the pressure right when it should be building. And that brings us to the ending. Because if the movie is going to build Grace this way, the ending has to really cash that out. And on paper, it does. The man who tried to run from the mission is now choosing to stay. Not because someone forces him, not because he has no way out, but because now he wants to. That is the right ending for Grace's arc. It completes the movement of the character. It gives him the chance to become the person he failed to be earlier. And to be fair, the ending does work. It's effective. I just don't think it feels as powerful as it should. Because when Grace decides to stay with Rocky instead of going back, that choice should feel heavier than it does. It should feel like he's really giving something up. It should feel like everything he's been running from is finally catching up with him. Instead, the ending feels a little too easy for a movie that had something messier and more powerful right there. It's the correct ending. I'm just not convinced it's the strongest version of that ending. And to me, that's a pattern with the whole movie. Whenever Project Hail Mary gets closer to something darker, sadder, or more uncomfortable, it backs off, even when that version feels more interesting. So overall, yeah, I liked it. I like Gosling in it. I like Rocky in it. I like the movie. I'd recommend it. But I also think the movie's best emotional idea is the one it never fully commits to. The reveal that Grace had to be forced into the mission should change the whole movie more than it does. Rocky should deepen that tension, not just soften it. And that ending should cost Grace a little more than the movie lets it. That's why my final take on Project Hail Mary is basically this. Good movie, very watchable, very likable. The most interesting version of this movie is the one it kept flinching away from. And that flinch is exactly what the story is supposed to be about. If you think the movie earns its ending, or if you think it earns something more, let me know below. And if you enjoy movie breakdown like this, subscribe and I'll see you in the next video.